Well, thank you very much, Paul. I'll just share a few bits and pieces about storytelling and storytelling in business. And the first thing is that there is a science to storytelling. The two main emotions that we experience when we hear a good story are distress and empathy. And something happens within us when we are engaged in a story. I guess the easiest example of that would be a movie. You're looking at a film and there's a character and you are invested in the character. You feel empathy toward the character. And the character then is presented with a problem. And this is when the story really begins in the movie. It's called the inciting incident, or it's when the story actually takes off. And then the movie or the story is all about the character overcoming the problem that they're faced with. And we feel both distress and empathy as the character goes through that journey. And at the end of the movie, they succeed against all of the odds and we feel very relieved. What happens within us is in that whole journey, there are chemicals released within our brain and within our body. And those chemicals are what keep us occupied. Now, that can be translated into business. And that's what I've spent my life's work doing, is translating the principles of storytelling and the science of storytelling into business. Because when we look to communicate with the customer, exactly the same thing happens. Our customer has a problem, and we are in business to help them solve that problem. That's a value that we offer in business. We're in business to help them solve that problem. And if we think of our customer as an individual, they've got their own little world that they live in. And our challenge as business people and as communicators in marketing is to understand the world that they live in. The customer that we want to reach, they live in their own little world. And what we've got to do is we've got to somehow get into their world and communicate with them, empathize with them, know how they feel, know what they're going through in their world, know that the problems that they're facing in their world, understand how our product or our service can help them solve the problem that they're going through. And then what happens is once we communicate that to our customer, they begin to open up and let us into their world. What I have found, or what I have spent my career doing, is using storytelling to get into that world, to build a bridge between my product or my service and my customer's world. And the way that I build that bridge is by sharing stories that they can identify with. And the stories that I share with them go deep into their neural networks. They trigger the same chemicals that I talked about when you're listening to, looking at a movie or reading a book. And so storytelling to me is one of the most effective ways of getting attention and keeping attention. One way we keep attention is by understanding that we're all curious beings. The curiosity factor, we want to know what's going to happen next. They say that gossip, they say that gossip was one of the earliest forms of news and carrying information, because people want to know what's going on. Well, it's that curiosity that really keeps our customer listening to our story. So once we can structure a story and communicate that story in business, either through video, which is what I specialize in, or writing, or there are many other ways of communicating stories in business, then we have the attention of the person we're trying to reach. And I think that that is one of the most valuable things these days. I think attention in these times of digital noise and social media and our inboxes filling up with everything, attention is probably the most valuable thing we can have, we can ask for from the people that we're trying to reach. If we can get their attention, then we've got something. Then we can start shepherding or moving our ideal customers toward the sale, basically. And that's what marketing is. Marketing is the way that we move our ideal customers toward the sale. With video, so that's kind of about storytelling, but with video, there are lots of different videos that you can use in business. The training videos, product and service stories, the founder stories, videos that tell customer stories, a video that introduces you to your audience and tells your story, their brand stories, their advertorials, their case studies. I could go on and on, but there are many types of videos that you can use in business. And I just finish off by saying that video is probably the most powerful way of communicating today. Everybody's used to video now. The pandemic, one thing that it has done, it's gotten everybody used to video. And people will stop and look at a video that captures their attention from the very beginning and keeps their attention throughout. And that's that kind of attention is the sort of gold that you can't just take for granted. It does take an effort to do that, and it's worth doing.